Can you see that it's the half moon?
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve, and I'm here with my pal, Mr. Gopher. Say hi, Mr. Gopher. Mr. Gopher was hitting the gopher nip pretty hard last night, so he's a little woozy.
What are you talking about? I'm fine, really?
Yeah, so for this week's video, what I'm going to do is participate in a thread. This is a thread that was started by a cat who calls his channel On My Turntable. And basically the theme is, he calls it Female Artist Spotlight. And so basically it's, you show between 5 and 10 albums by a female artist, either a all female band or female led band, solo artist, and at least one of them is somebody that you've seen live. And I'm going to show 7, and there's a couple in this stack that I've seen live, and I'm going to get into that right now. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about movie soundtracks on CD. So don't go away. Watch the whole video. Patti Smith Group, Radio Ethiopia. I've seen her a couple times. I saw her at Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, which is like a local festival we have here in SF around October. And I saw her in the 90s at one of those Neil Young Bridge School concerts. So yeah, I guess both times like at outdoor festivals. But this is an album that doesn't get as much attention as Horses or Easter, but it is a pretty amazing album. Ask the Angels, great song. Ain't It Strange, Poppies, and then the title track is almost like a Sonic Youth song. It's like a 8-minute long, just kind of free-form noise fest. And this album has a little bit of a heavier sound to it. It was produced by Jack Douglas, who did the classic Aerosmith albums. But anyway, yeah, Patti Smith. All right, the next one, this is Grass Widow, kind of local, all-female post-punk trio from the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 2000s, early 2010. When did this record come out? 2009 this record came out. And they're pretty cool. They do a cover of the Urinal's Black Hole on this record. And it's a 45 RPM EP on a 12-inch with some deep grooves. Okay, another one from around the same time, 2009. And this is a band that I was introduced to through my radio days when I was on the radio on KUSF. And this band is called Super Wild Horses. And another kind of post-punkish band, duo of 2 girls from Australia on the Hozak label. And I met them. They came by the radio station for an interview back when I used to do the radio show back then. And they were very cool. And they gifted me this boxing kangaroo pen.
Ow! Ow! That hurts! What are you doing, you asshole?
So, how cool is that? This is Judy Sill, singer-songwriter from the early 70s on Asylum Records. Kind of sad story. We lost her to drugs, but she made 2 brilliant albums. This is the first album. It's on the Asylum label. Well worth checking out if you like those like introspective 70s singer-songwriter ladies. But yeah, some of her songs are pretty deep. This is a really nice one. Someone else that I did get a chance to see live from 1970, Linda Perhacs, and her album Parallelograms, which was quite a rare collector's item. But she made a comeback and recorded some more music after this was reissued. And I saw one of her first shows here in the Bay Area, maybe around 2010, maybe early 2011, maybe 2010. But she played in an art gallery, did a nice set of old and new songs, signed the record for me, which was quite cool. But like psychedelic folk masterpiece. The title track is really trippy. And this is the Mexican Summer reissue, which has a second disc of bonus tracks. All right. So I'm guessing that a lot of people who get on this thread, it's going to be mostly female vocalists. So I thought I would represent for some female instrumentalists. And of course, it wouldn't be a Stereo Steve video without a jazz record. So Shirley Scott played organ, wife of Stanley Turrentine. Made some great records for the Prestige label. And this is called Scotty Plays the Duke. And it's all covers of Duke Ellington done in her jazz organ style. And this is a real nice one. And last but not least, we're going to get into some experimental territory. This was another local Bay Area artist from the late 80s who's recently been making a comeback and playing shows again. This is Cernai, real name Carolyn Falk, and she was in the band called Trial. She was in a bunch of bands, but she made these solo recordings on a 4-track reel-to-reel tape machine with some really trippy kind of processed percussion and keyboards. Real dark, I guess you'd call it industrial music. But back then she made this one record and a bunch of stuff she put out on cassette. And a few years back, the Dark Entries label put out a box set of all that material and some bonus material. And I did see her live a couple years ago. She did a show with Morton Subotnick, also performed at that show down at what's that place called? Gray Area, a place down in the Mission. But anyway, those are my 7 records by female artists. Let me know in the comments if you're going to jump on this thread. Also, check out the original video. And I'll be back after this.
How
does a band like Chicago with 4 super hit albums on Columbia Records continue their outrageous success? Chicago 5, the latest and most together Chicago album. Chicago 5 on Columbia Records. 10 dynamite new tunes guaranteed to make you wanna boogie. Chicago 5, now only $2.95 at the Record Factory.
San Francisco, San Jose, Walnut Creek.
Chicago 5 at the Record Factory.
Oh no, you can't leave yet. You gotta have a nice cup of tea with me.
Captain Clark welcomes you aboard. Oh, you have 10 minutes here. See this hand calling time. You now have 8 minutes.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Compact Disc Corner, where I talk about the compact discs in the corner. And like I said before, I'm kind of in the process of uploading some CDs I've been neglecting into a computer so I can listen to them in a more convenient manner. This is the movie soundtrack edition of Compact Disc Corner. It's not all of my movie soundtracks or even my favorite ones. It's just ones that I felt like digging out and uploading this time around. Start out with some Lalo Schifrin. This is the soundtrack to Bullet, filmed in San Francisco. Legendary car chase that could never happen in real life because of the way it's cut. But yeah, this is WEA International. This is a Japanese CD of the Bullet soundtrack. No Obi, but there's that. Another great Lalo Schifrin soundtrack, Enter the Dragon, starring Bruce Lee. Fighting without fighting. And there's the inside cover. Yep. And there's a little Japanese little sheet that I can't read, but yeah. Enter the Dragon, another great Lalo Schifrin 70s movie soundtrack. I was just watching Jackie Brown the other day. Made me think of Pam Grier in Coffee. Coffee is the color, bam, 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 bam. Composed by Roy Ayers. She's the godmother of them all. Definitely worth checking out if you dig the blaxploitation 70s action movies. Yes. Coffee. Yeah, could go for some coffee. This is a compilation. Best of Bollywood. 15 classic hits from the Indian cinema. And it's just kind of a good way to just get started with that massive catalog of material. And these are mostly from the 60s and 70s. This is the rare one where it's printed upside down. Right. Okay, here's the one everybody has. On vinyl, this is as ubiquitous as the Herb Alpert Whipped Cream Girl record. The Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. John Travolta, the Bee Gees. But this is, and again, this is like the BMG mail order edition because it has this little insignia where the barcode would be if you went to the store and bought it. And it's got the entire album, the entire double album on one disc. Disco Inferno, long version, all the Bee Gees hits, along with Tavares and Kool and the Gang, and some incidental music like Night on Disco Mountain.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, but some vinyl copies have a live version of Jive Talkin', and some of them have the studio version. I'm happy to announce that the compact disc has the studio version of Jive Talkin', one of my favorite of the disco era Bee Gees songs. All right, well, you know what kids used to say about disco back in the days. So here's some rock soundtracks. This is the soundtrack to Dazed and Confused, the 90s Richard Linklater film set in the 70s. It's got Rick Derringer, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, Slow Ride by Foghat. It's the short version on the CD. The long version's in the movie. But Alice Cooper, ZZ Top, The Runaways, Sweet, Leonard Skinner, Deep Purple, Kiss, Black Sabbath, and Lowrider by War. I mean, even if you don't like this movie, this is a pretty solid collection of 70s tunes. And a solid collection of 60s tunes, the Easy Rider soundtrack. And this is one of those where always you see it on vinyl and it's totally beat. So I'm like, I may as well get it on CD. And, you know, Steppenwolf, The Byrds, Holy Modal Rounders, Jimi Hendrix. If you've never seen this movie, this is a classic. You know, it's kind of ahead of its time in a lot of ways. But yeah, this is like the classic. I mean, besides the whole 60s biker stoner thing, this is also kind of the godfather of all of those road trip movies. Easy Rider. Okay. Next is a movie. It's a pretty good movie. Did not do that well in the box office, but the soundtrack was very successful because it's a great collection of songs, and that is Dead Presidents. And the movie is worth seeing. And it's a long movie, long enough that there are 2 volumes of soundtrack music, mostly 60s and 70s soul. Again, just a solid collection of music, whether you saw the movie or not. You know, it's got Sly Stone, Isaac Hayes, James Brown, The Spinners, Stevie Wonder, Curtis Mayfield. Yeah. And last but not least, Office Space. And it's got just this pretty solid collection of gangster rap, because they kind of used gangster rap for comedic dramatic effect in some scenes. But they're going all out. It's got Ghetto Boys and Scarface, also Ice Cube, Kool Keith, and Slum Village, and some Paris Prado music to round it out. And yeah, movie that again, it didn't set the world on fire at the box office, but thanks to word of mouth and video rentals, it's well, if you could go ahead and watch that movie, that would be great. Okay, and I guess I'll wrap it up with an honorable mention. This is Hugo Montenegro and his orchestra doing the good, the bad, the ugly. And it's basically Montenegro covering Morricone Western soundtrack music from the trilogy Good, Bad, the Ugly, Few Dollars More, Fistful of Dollars. And this was kind of the version that was a hit on the radio of Okay then, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and peace.